Hello everyone. If you love heartwarming animal stories and want to follow the inspiring journey of these adorable friends, don't forget to hit the subscribe button now so you won't miss any of our videos. Now, let's dive into today's emotional story. The first cry of baby Charlie echoed through the sterile hospital room, but it was a cry that held a sadness, a worry, a sense of uncertainty. Born prematurely, Charlie was small and fragile, hooked to machines that beeped in rhythm with his heartbeat. His parents, Emma and John, had dreamed of a joyful beginning, but the reality was far different. Their precious son, only a few pounds at birth, was struggling for each breath, each movement, and each ounce of strength. Charlie's first few weeks of life were spent in the hospital, a blur of doctors, nurses, and sleepless nights. Emma and John spent every waking moment by his side, offering their love and comfort, but still, it seemed like Charlie was fighting an impossible battle. The doctors told them that Charlie had a number of special medical needs. His brain had been affected by the premature birth, making his recovery a long and painful journey. The prognosis was uncertain, and Emma's heart broke every time she saw her baby struggle. She and John clung to hope, but the days felt long, and they began to question whether they were doing enough to help their son heal. Despite all their love, there was a gap between what they could give Charlie and what he truly needed. Emma would cry in private, unsure of how to help him overcome the challenges that loomed ahead. There were days when she could hardly bear to see her son in pain, days when John would hold her as she tried to quiet her fears. It was during one of those difficult days when Emma received an unexpected call from a local animal shelter. They had recently visited the shelter, hoping to find a dog that might help them heal, not just for themselves, but for Charlie too. The shelter had contacted them about a golden retriever named Daisy, a gentle dog who had been abandoned but had an extraordinary ability to bond with people. Emma and John hesitated at first. Could a dog really make a difference for their son? Could a puppy truly understand the pain that Charlie was experiencing? After much thought, they decided to meet Daisy. When they arrived at the shelter, Daisy bounded over to them, her tail wagging with an energy that contrasted with the calmness in her eyes. She immediately sat down at Emma's feet, looking up at her with a gaze that was both kind and knowing. It was as if Daisy could already sense the heaviness in Emma's heart, the worry that had been growing there for weeks. Without a word, Emma bent down and stroked Daisy's golden fur. The connection was immediate, like something between them that transcended the usual adoption process. There was something in Daisy's presence that Emma hadn't even realized she needed, a kind of soothing presence that made everything feel just a little bit lighter. "Let's bring her home," Emma whispered, a tear slipping down her cheek. And so, Daisy came into their lives. As Daisy settled into her new life with Emma and John, the transformation in Charlie began to unfold slowly but steadily. In the beginning, Charlie remained distant, unsure of the new puppy who had entered his world. But Daisy, with her patient and gentle nature, was not about to give up. She instinctively sensed the need to provide comfort and reassurance to her new friend. Every time Charlie would stir in his crib or make a sound, Daisy was there, quietly lying by his side, her presence a calming force. Emma and John were amazed by how Daisy seemed to understand Charlie's needs in ways they couldn't. There were times when Charlie would become frustrated or anxious, his little body wriggling in distress. But as soon as Daisy was near him, he seemed to calm. Her warm, steady presence soothed him in a way nothing else could. Emma couldn't help but feel a surge of gratitude toward this gentle dog who had so effortlessly stepped into their lives and taken on the role of protector and friend. Daisy had a natural way of being there for Charlie without being overwhelming. She would lie beside his crib, keeping him company during his naps, and as Charlie began to gain more strength, Daisy stayed by his side, encouraging him. Emma noticed that when Charlie reached out, trying to grasp something or move, Daisy would nudge her nose gently against his hand, as though saying, "I'm here." It was a silent, yet profound encouragement that helped Charlie keep going. For the first time, Emma saw her son's eyes brighten whenever Daisy was near. The connection between them was immediate and undeniable. Charlie, who had previously been distant, now seemed to seek Daisy's presence whenever he felt uneasy. It wasn't just a calming influence, it was as though Daisy became his emotional anchor, providing Charlie with the sense of security that had been missing in his early days. The bond between the two was growing stronger every day. Emma and John would often find themselves marveling at the transformation they were witnessing. Charlie, once so frail and withdrawn, was now showing signs of progress they never thought possible. While his physical development was still slow, emotionally, he was becoming more open and engaged. It seemed as though Daisy had given him something to look forward to, something to engage with in a way that no one else had been able to. As weeks passed, Charlie began to make small but meaningful strides. He was starting to smile more, reaching out to Daisy and laughing when she playfully licked his hand. It wasn't just the smile that warmed Emma's heart, it was the sound of Charlie's laughter, a sound she had longed to hear since his birth. Daisy had not only provided Charlie with emotional stability, but she had also helped him unlock a piece of himself that had been buried under layers of fear and uncertainty. One day, as Emma watched from the kitchen window, she saw something that filled her with hope. Charlie, who had been lying on his tummy, tried to push himself up. His arms shook with the effort, but as he did, Daisy trotted over and lay beside him, her body close, offering silent support. Emma's heart swelled as she watched Charlie slowly raise his upper body, his small chest heaving with each movement. He wasn't standing, but the effort alone felt like a small victory, and Daisy was there, a steady presence by his side. In the days that followed, Charlie's determination continued to grow. He began to make more attempts at movement, even trying to push himself into a sitting position. Every time he struggled, Daisy was there, lying beside him, offering her presence and love. It was clear that Daisy wasn't just a pet, she was an essential part of Charlie's healing process. Emma knew that Charlie's journey was far from over, but she also knew that, with Daisy's support, her son was beginning to build the strength he needed to face the world. Daisy was more than just a dog, she was a constant source of love and encouragement, helping Charlie feel safe, secure, and ready to take on the challenges ahead. The emotional bond between Charlie and Daisy had become the cornerstone of his recovery, and Emma and John felt blessed to have witnessed such a miraculous connection. As they watched their son begin to flourish with Daisy by his side, they couldn't help but be filled with a renewed sense of hope for their family's future. Daisy had given them more than they could have ever expected, she had given them the gift of healing. The days passed, and the progress Charlie was making, though gradual, continued to inspire his parents. Emma and John marveled at how much Charlie was changing, not just physically, but emotionally. The once quiet, withdrawn boy was now showing more interest in the world around him, and much of that transformation could be attributed to Daisy. The dog had become not just a companion, but an essential part of Charlie's healing process. One afternoon, as Emma sat with Charlie on the living room floor, watching Daisy play with her toys, she couldn't help but notice the connection between the two. Charlie, who had spent so many months feeling lost and overwhelmed, was now actively reaching out to Daisy, his tiny hand brushing over her soft fur. Daisy, in turn, would nuzzle him gently, her tail wagging with a quiet joy that Emma had not seen in a long time. Charlie's smiles, though still small, were becoming more frequent. He was learning to trust again, and Daisy was right there by his side, encouraging him every step of the way. Every time he made an effort to move or reach for something, Daisy was there to offer support, whether it was with a gentle nudge of her nose or a soft bark of encouragement. For the first time in months, Emma saw hope in Charlie's eyes. It was as if Daisy's unwavering presence was helping Charlie see that he could do more than he ever thought possible. Charlie had started making small movements on his own, pushing himself up onto his arms, reaching for toys, even attempting to roll over. It wasn't easy, and each movement required all of his strength, but he was trying, and that was the most important thing. Every time Charlie succeeded, Daisy would bark happily, her eyes shining with pride. It was as though she understood the significance of each step, and she celebrated each small victory with him. One afternoon, as Emma and John sat in the living room, watching Charlie and Daisy play, Emma's heart swelled with pride. Charlie was now able to sit up for short periods of time on his own, and although it was still a struggle, he was doing it with more confidence. The bond between him and Daisy had only grown stronger, and it was clear that Daisy was the emotional anchor Charlie needed to push through his struggles. The way Daisy always knew when Charlie needed her, when he needed support or comfort, was nothing short of remarkable. One evening, as the sun began to set and the room was filled with the soft glow of the fading light, Emma and John sat together on the couch, watching their son and Daisy. Charlie was lying on his stomach, reaching for a toy that lay just out of reach. Daisy was lying beside him, her head resting gently on his back. Emma felt tears welling up in her eyes as she watched the quiet, tender moment. It was a moment of connection, something that Charlie had not experienced before. "Look at them," John whispered, his voice thick with emotion. "It's incredible, isn't it? How far Charlie's come. And how much Daisy has helped him." Emma nodded, wiping a tear from her cheek. "I don't think we would be here without her," she said softly. "Daisy has given him something no one else could. She's given him the strength to believe in himself." It was true. Daisy had become not only Charlie's protector and companion but also a catalyst for his emotional and physical healing. Her constant presence, her ability to sense when Charlie needed her, had given him the confidence to take risks, to push himself beyond his limits. And with each step he took, Daisy was there, cheering him on in her own way, offering the kind of encouragement that only a dog could give. As the weeks turned into months, Charlie continued to show remarkable progress. He was now able to sit up for longer periods of time, and his physical therapist was amazed by his improvements. Though it was clear that Charlie's journey was far from over, the growth he had made in such a short amount of time was nothing short of miraculous. Daisy had played a pivotal role in that progress, and Emma and John couldn't imagine their lives without her. One afternoon, Emma found herself sitting on the porch, watching as Charlie and Daisy played together in the yard. Charlie was crawling slowly, determined to reach Daisy, who was wagging her tail in excitement. As he finally reached her, Charlie let out a small laugh, his face lighting up with joy. Daisy licked his face, and for a brief moment, everything felt right in the world. Emma smiled, her heart full of gratitude. Daisy had not only helped Charlie heal physically but had also given him the emotional strength to face the challenges of his condition. The love and companionship between them had created a bond that was truly special, one that would last a lifetime. "Thank you, Daisy," Emma whispered softly, knowing that the dog had given their family a gift beyond measure. She had brought hope into their lives, and for that, Emma would be forever grateful. As the months passed, Charlie's progress continued to astonish everyone around him. With Daisy by his side, his emotional and physical healing seemed to accelerate. He had learned to push himself in ways no one thought possible. Sitting up, rolling over, and even attempting to crawl were all small victories that, combined, marked a major transformation in his life. Daisy, who had once been a timid puppy, now became his most loyal ally, offering unconditional love and constant encouragement. One day, while Emma and John were sitting together in the living room, watching Charlie as he practiced sitting up, Emma turned to her husband with a look of quiet pride. "Can you believe how far he's come?" she asked, her voice trembling slightly with emotion. John nodded, his eyes soft. "It's nothing short of a miracle. Daisy's presence has been everything for him." The transformation in Charlie was undeniable. Whereas he once withdrew from the world, now he was more willing to engage, to try new things, and to face the challenges of his condition with a quiet determination. He still had a long way to go, but the confidence he had gained, thanks to Daisy, was palpable. Charlie's attachment to Daisy had grown stronger every day. He had started to mimic her movements, crawling after her when she ran or walking beside her, his small hands clutching her fur for support. And each time he succeeded in making even the smallest of movements, Daisy was there, wagging her tail and nudging him gently with her nose, as if celebrating the victory together. It was as if she had become an extension of his heart, a living reminder that no matter how hard things got, he was never truly alone. The bond between Charlie and Daisy was nothing short of magical. One afternoon, as the two of them played in the yard, Charlie laughed as Daisy chased after a ball. His tiny body struggled to keep up, but he pushed through, his determination clear. Emma watched from the porch, her heart swelling with pride. She had seen so many difficult days, and in those moments, she remembered how far they had come. What was once a quiet, withdrawn child was now a boy full of life, laughter, and hope. Days turned into weeks, and weeks into months. Charlie continued his physical therapy sessions, and with Daisy's gentle encouragement, he began to take his first steps. Though each movement was still a struggle, it was no longer something Charlie feared. He was learning to trust his body again, and in doing so, he learned to trust the world around him. And through it all, Daisy remained by his side, a constant source of love and reassurance. Emma couldn't help but reflect on the journey they had been through as a family. There had been days when it felt impossible, when Charlie's struggles seemed insurmountable. But through it all, they had found strength in one another, and in Daisy. The puppy who had come into their lives to comfort and heal had, in turn, helped heal the family as a whole. Daisy's presence had given Emma and John the courage to keep moving forward, to never give up on their son, and to believe that no challenge was too great. One day, as Emma and John sat in the kitchen, watching Charlie and Daisy play in the yard, Emma felt a quiet peace settle in her heart. Charlie was thriving. He had learned to take steps on his own, and even though he still required assistance, there was no doubt in her mind that he would continue to make progress. His laughter, his joy, and the connection he shared with Daisy were all signs of a future full of possibility. "Do you ever wonder," Emma asked John softly, "what life would have been like without Daisy?" John smiled, looking over at her. "I try not to think about it. Daisy gave us something we didn't even know we needed. She gave us hope." Emma nodded, her heart full. "And she gave Charlie something even more precious, his voice, his confidence. She taught him that he could do more than he thought possible." As Charlie crawled toward them, Daisy trotting playfully beside him, Emma and John knew that their family had become stronger through their bond with this extraordinary dog. Daisy had taught them the power of love, patience, and resilience. she had given Charlie more than just a companion, she had given him a reason to believe in himself again. And as they watched their son take yet another step forward, they knew, without a doubt, that the journey ahead was brighter than ever before. Together, with Daisy at their side, they were ready for whatever came next. The road was long, but with love, perseverance, and a little help from their furry friend, there was no challenge they couldn't face. The story of Charlie and Daisy highlights the transformative power of companionship and the profound impact animals can have on human lives. Through Daisy's unwavering love and support, Charlie was able to overcome his physical and emotional challenges, proving that sometimes the most unexpected sources of help come from the purest forms of love. This story teaches us the importance of patience, resilience, and the belief that no obstacle is insurmountable when we have the right support. In real life, many children with special needs face similar struggles, whether physical or emotional. The bond between a child and an animal can be an incredibly healing force, offering comfort and encouragement in ways that are often hard to achieve through traditional therapies. Just as Daisy helped Charlie find his confidence and strength, pets can bring joy, stability, and motivation to those who feel lost or isolated. This story reminds us that love and companionship, whether from family members or animals, can make the seemingly impossible possible. It is a powerful lesson in how we can all help each other grow and overcome life's challenges, sometimes with just a little bit of faith and a lot of love.